it starts going left, but let's continue.
And I'm totally in my own lane.
You found
the conversations that I have.
Trollo over there looking like Killmonger from Black Panther. What the hell, nigga? I didn't know your dress was going like that.
People requested that I talk to certain people, just like they requested that I talk to you. Okay.
You said what now? You don't hear it?
I just asked you. What was my question?
Your question is how I ended up on Fresh and Fit, right?
Correct. How did you?
And I just told you. And I just told you people requested that I go there, so I asked them to go there.
Right? Okay, so you're saying the fans suggested it, and
yes.
then so you Fresh and Fit to go on the show.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the actual answer to my question then is I requested to go on Fresh and Fit. So what you did, which is very common, not only among females.
Yeah, because that's what y'all like to do. Y'all like to take bits and pieces of the trip. Y'all like to take bits and pieces so you can flip it out of context. I'm not going to let you do that to me.
We usually assign to females that they don't take what's called accountability. You know, they don't acknowledge what is within their control and within their decision making. So what you've done, hold on one second, love. I'll give you time to speak.
Go ahead.
What you've just done is I said, how did you end up on Fresh and Fit?
Yeah.
How did you end up there? Well, the answer is that you requested to go on Fresh and Fit.
Well, how did I end up here then? How did I end up here then?
Would you mind?
Now, this is what I go through on this app. And I'm telling you, this is why I understand why he did what he did. Because his whole point was when she made the statement that I don't go to male spaces, and when he pointed out a male space, I knew that any sane person would know that you would have to go there on your own regard unless someone forced you. Whether someone tells you to do something, people will tell you to do the dumbest things, request it or whatever, but you still have a choice. So when she started going into how she begun even doing podcasts, you're deflecting. And she's saying that he's trying to paint a narrative. No, he asked you a simple question. You're the one trying to paint the narrative because you think by contradicting yourself that he's trying to make you look like you're full of shit. Like you're trying to. So no, all you got to do is you don't have to say I don't be in male spaces because that's not even a problem. Why is that something you have to even make a statement about? So you want to look like this one man army and that people are just gravitating towards you. But when we start breaking down the process, you're going to contradict yourself. And this is what women do a lot when it comes to debating men. They will say a statement that can obviously be contradicted. And then because the women know where it's going, they will start saying, see, you trying to make me look like this. No one told you to say that statement. No one made her make that statement. We could have just kept going. But she has to be this type of woman to make herself look a certain type of way. You're creating a false narrative about yourself. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Interrupting me, I think we just said I promise you I will stop talking and I will yield the floor completely, but if you allow me to complete a sentence. Right.
Go ahead.
So you requested to go on Fresh and Fit, but instead of just saying that, which is flat out what it was, and there's nothing wrong with that, you said, oh well, my fans had told me I should go on there, and so following the advice of my fans, then I asked them to go, and that's how I ended up on it. You see, that's a big long story when the reality is, why not just say I asked to go on, which is the truth of the matter. Because I'm sure
the whole truth. No, the entire truth.
Yeah, I see you're getting out of control. You're not going to be a good representative for these women if you're showing them that you can't engage in dialogue. You have to stop talking to listen. And I'm going to at some point stop talking so that I might listen to you. And I'm going to listen to you sincerely. I do want to hear from you. So rather than taking accountability and saying, I chose to go on there because I asked them, you can't blame your fans, because then it would seem that you're doing everything your fans asked you to do, because I trust they've asked you to do many things that you've not done. They've made many recommendations that you've not taken. So that's something that you chose to go into a male space, probably for the benefit of your own exposure and clout. And there's nothing wrong with that. I now yield the floor to you.
Okay. So you asked, since a lot of people like to go into male spaces, first of all, why would I be going into a male space? I don't just.
This man asked her one question, and she just now, you see what she just said? She just made up all the shit she just said. This man asked her one question. Because of how she interpreted it, now she's responding with rhetoric he never said, because this is what she still told herself. This man never said none of those things. He made it very specific. When you made that statement about I don't go to male spaces, he asked you one question. When women tell their stories, they think it's going to water down or make it seem deemable that she can say something that isn't true. You go to male spaces. That's what it does. I don't know why women say that. I don't go to male spaces. They always come at me. You go to male spaces. And I can go on another level, but I ain't going to do that. But this is why it went left. And this is why I do have a similar method of talking to women. So this is why I understand why this man does this, because I have a similar way of doing it. I do. I really like this dude. Like, the man clearly said, I am not into the manosphere. He literally said that. And she will say, well, this is a problem with you men in the manosphere. Now she'll make a statement and he will address it, and then she'll demean it by saying, well, you have the same thoughts. Like, if now when he starts doing it to her, now he's going to give her the same energy, and look how she's going to take it. She's able to have this way of talking, and this is why I said these are the tactics that women do. Women do not have to call you a bitch, a dumbass. This is the same way they do things. This is the way they do it. Can you hear it, Troller?
I mean, I can hear you perfectly fine, but I don't know, when you play the video, sometimes it goes low. But yeah, I just came over here to say, yeah, not only did she twist what he said, though, she also interrupted him again. You know what I mean? And when she keep asserting herself, but when you do understand, when women assert themselves at the wrong time in the conversation, but at the same time requesting not to be talked over, what they're trying to do is assert dominance over the conversation. It's called mental leverage. It's something that they actually teach. So like when you do this and it's being done, the average guy like Master Slim, he's not going to notice it. He's going to think that I'm being a chauvinistic when I say, hey, shut the fuck up. Because at the end of the day, I know what you're doing. Like he does what I did, what I do. I patiently tell them, hey, yo, I'm talking. When you were talking, I was not talking. Once I understand that they 100% understand what I'm saying, that they get that what they're doing wrong, that's disrespect, then comes the disrespect. Because at the end of the day, you're being disrespectful. You don't have to use the word bitch to be disrespectful. This is one thing that Slim and the rest of the feminists don't understand. They don't get that. Like Slim is an observer feminist. So what he does is observe feminism and doesn't see it for what it is. When those women are cutting me off, he don't see that. What he does see is the response. So he responds to that. And that's what the women do as well. They respond to the response. They were doing this to this dude the other day when they were listening to the interview. They were over there crying that he had been, and I never seen the beginning of this. This is my first time hearing this part of the opening. You know what I mean? So when I came in, he wasn't on her helmet, but he was definitely changed the temperament. So I already understood why, though.
Right. So this is what I was talking about. This is the Troller. I know some of it could be personal because you know who it is, but I'm telling you, when I have conversations and I'm doing it by the book, if it's a planned platform, I'm gonna do it by the book. Slim Spanner's a planned platform, so I'm not gonna be my antagonistic self. I know how I antagonize. I know I purposely do things, but I know how to interact and have a conversation and engage and even wait, even though I don't agree. But as soon as I say something, I get cut off mid, like not even mid, a fraction of the beginning of the sentence, and now I'm arguing of the 3 words that I said in a tangent because I'm interrupted, and I had to go through that many times last night. And I'm like, this lady just told this man, started off the whole thing. You didn't come after, but he said that I'm for the unification of men and women. I do, I saw that you was on Fresh and Fit. I'm not part of the manosphere. But their points, basically saying they got some points, but I'm not part of it. She starts saying, well, this is the problem with the men in the middle. Like she literally, this is what women, this is their tactics, but they throw in the victimization of how men, they and women, if you're not very knowledgeable as a person, you're not going to see social cues. And I say, most people don't know how to communicate. They don't know the differences between this conversation and that conversation, but women don't especially. That's why they'll grab a conversation that wasn't in the same format to make an argument about what's going on right now. And you're going to see, and this is why I didn't have an issue with what I know.
And
He's a good
that goes
debater.
back to what the point I made the other day. They go back to default. See, this is something that she already planned. The thing about women, right, that I've noticed, and this is for the conglomerate. This is not just for individuals, anecdotal, none of that shit. This is for the conglomerate of women, right? They have a hard time getting off default. If they believe something, especially in a setting like this where they're debating or going back and forth. If they believe something, are they prepared for it, right? She prepared for this debate. She prepared by talking about men in the manosphere. Women have a hard time pivoting. They don't know how to pivot out of that. He already annihilated that argument. So with a man, even though if I prepared to go after the manosphere, the moment that he pivots and does that, because what he did was a juke move, and he moved this way, and he moved out of her way and said, hey, before you attack this manosphere, I'm not a part of that. Clever. So now she has to pivot. But instead of pivoting, she keeps going back to default. And that's the problem I have with women. They can't debate because they already have a set tone. And I'm going to say something that's all the way off. That's going to make them have to speak on that. And that's where they can't win a debate at. Like I'm willing to debate Tanya right now because we haven't picked a topic that women shouldn't vote. And I know exactly how to fuck her off her default. But she's going to have to stick to the default because she doesn't know how to do anything else. And I'm going to win because of it. All I need is a fair and partial judgment, you know what I mean, and not some motherfucker that's getting emotional. If I get a fair and partial judgment, she'll lose, hands down. It's going to be over. I'm going to murder her. I know one simple fact that she doesn't even know that's going to shock the shit out of her, and she's not going to have shit to say about it. And that lack of response because she can't pivot and she's going to be accustomed to making a valid argument that women shouldn't be allowed not to speak in public and how uneducated certain men are. The fact is, I can predict her argument. She cannot predict mine because she doesn't study the situation enough. She's only studying it. She's only going to study it for the debate, no matter what situation it is.
Exactly. And this is why whenever we were talking about me and her's debate, she started saying, well, how long is it? Because if he says something that's not part of the topic, if she was talking about what happened in the black community and she makes a wrong statement, I say, oh, and before we go, what you said about this happening on this date was wrong. This is why it happened. Now she was mad because if she had to answer what I had to do or have a response, she wanted the time to be able to still rebuttal what I corrected to me. So that's why she was so fixated. And that's what caught her off guard like that. But I didn't have a problem doing that because when you know, when you have an intellectual informed brain, you can take any amount of information and look at it from every angle and come up with new ideas and come up with new synopsises for how you can look at the problem. When you Google shit on this fucking spot, you're looking at it for what it is. I can say why these people did it when they did this. I can say why the people did this in that time for this reason, because I'm an intellect. I don't just look at it like for what it is. I don't just read a sentence. I can go back a little further and find out this may have been the reason in their family and this is what they was tied to. I don't just have, that's why you can't, when it comes to things I know, you're not going to beat me. I feel like, but the thing about me, my Achilles heel with women when it comes to talking about stuff is when they start doing this, Trolla. That's my Achilles heel, and I feel like I don't care who you are. I feel like I have to just try to crush you and get personal. I do that. And she said that me and Trolla we have a bully way of debating. If we didn't bully debate, no, it's not bully debate. It's, well, I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm saying
just debating.
Yeah, it's debating, but you think that you can insert yourself in my conversation and say things and overtalk me, but because you're not saying bitch or you're a single father or you don't have, because you're not placing that in your rhetoric because you're upset, you're gonna take, oh, oh, you're not, now you're gonna call me a bitch and shit. After you done overtalk me, after you done flip-flop my words, and just that's my Achilles heel. And I'm still trying to work on the fact that I can still crush women, but I can even admit that I need to work on the fact that when women do things like that, it's like, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it down based on you now, because since you want to keep interrupting me, because that's what you want me to call you a bitch, but I'm gonna have to break it down the other way. So that's how I can admit, I know what I need to work on when it comes to this, but this is what I have to deal with what this lady's doing. Now he has to go in a tangent about what she's trying to do, and she doesn't even know she's doing it. That's what's even worse about when you're debating with someone like that, a woman. They don't even realize what they're doing, so they'll keep going back and forth about it because in their head they don't even know what's going on. But let me try to see if you can hear it up here, Troller.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. This is quite common, and I bet you'd be an expert on this because you're a person, a female, presumably, who's been.
You don't hear it?
Who's been hyper attentive to what's going on in the manosphere for no explainable reason. All I could see is that it's about money and clout. And so what I asked you earlier, is there some other reason that you're putting yourself onto these platforms?
Well, to get a message out. You know why? Because a lot of women are actually on the butt end of these podcasts. And so it's about being a person to stand up and be an example for women to follow. I don't mind going in any space I have to get a message out, right? So go ahead and play what you got to play, brother.
Okay, we have Billionaire said, I can already tell that even if you destroy her in this debate, her fans won't get it through their thick heads just off these insults already. I hope you all have an open mind and willingness to learn.
Indeed. You caught up?
And Troller was right. He even said, I don't know why you're so in tune with the manosphere, and it is kind of weird that you're talking about it, even when I said I'm not into it. So it seemed like she came with that direction. That was going to be her bread and butter for this conversation. And when he cut that off at the beginning, she's still going to keep talking from that angle. So that's why he said that it has to be for clout and money, because why would you still talk about the manosphere if I said in the beginning that this is what's going on? And then she contradicted the whole thing with, well, I'm trying to send a message. Well, to them. But you know what I'm saying? To them. I think you might have to log out completely to come back.
All right. Her other contradiction is this, though. She literally said, I don't go into man's spaces. Then just now she said she'll go in any space to defend women. So now that literally declaring that she would go into the mano space. So like it's either one thing or the other. You either don't go in certain places or you'll go in any place. So if you're saying now that you'll go in any place, it contradicts your earlier statement that you don't go in certain places. I mean, it's just common sense there. I don't know what the fuck. He actually let that slide because when he made that look, I thought for sure he was going to get on that because I would have never let that pass for sure. Right. Just to show, just show precedence, like this lady is bullshit. Like this is a contradiction right here. She just finished saying she don't go into man's spaces. Now she's declaring that she'll go anywhere to defend women. She just want women on her side. I would have woke her stupid shit up. I'm gonna go out and come back.
Exactly. Okay.
I have something to say. I'm just wondering.
No, I just have a question. What is she defending exactly?
Well, the topic is who's the prize, the man or the woman, in in nature, who's the prize? That's the whole
men
conversation. The reason why we're so far left.
Men are protectors and providers, but men are the prize because they are the ones who protect and provide. So.
Well, they're gonna go to another level of it, and he's gonna bring up a lot of key points. But the reason why we're all the way here is because she can't even start off, because she tried to make herself seem like she's this entity in the internet where she's saying so much truth, and all these men are like taken back, so they're trying to get a piece of the pie. But when in fact that's not the case. So, but we're gonna see why it led to. So this is where when you watch these type of videos, if you don't watch it from the beginning and you see when things are awry, you will probably judge it where this guy's just he couldn't control his emotions. But I'm gonna tell you, this guy gave her a lot of chances to just have a regular conversation, and you're gonna see it. And he's just coining things that she's saying that contradicts her whole rhetoric. But we're gonna see exactly where this goes.
Okay. So, number one, I think that you've already misrepresented women. For example, you stated that women are on the butt end of these podcasts. No, women are not on the butt end of these podcasts. Harlots, promiscuous women, women with low IQs are on the butt end of these podcasts, because the fact is, an average, everyday, respectable woman who's a professional would never show up on one of these podcasts. So these podcasts overrepresent OnlyFans girls. They overrepresent women who sexualize themselves for money, i.e. high-tech prostitutes. So those are the subsection of females that are represented, and they go on there willingly. So you're already lying when you're suggesting that women
on that particular podcast, or all podcasts that speak about women?
We can't speak about all podcasts. That would be literally impossible. But that particular podcast is one of the most popular ones in the world. That being the case, they reach a wider audience, and they've been copycatted by many different podcasts. Hence, it's worth talking about them.
Right. And they still have the same talking points about women in general, right? So yeah, they'll have your little OnlyFans girls come up there, but their entire thing is to denigrate women in general, right? Oh, as if independent women aren't trashed. Do you have a problem with independent women, Mr. Center?
First off, so you just asked me a question. So number one thing I've not done is have I insulted you so far?
No, I haven't insulted you either.
Okay. So just in case you didn't know, and I think you do know, I think you've watched a good amount of my content. The moniker is the Saint and the Sinner. And for short, people call me the Saint. You could also call me Marquette Burton. Passive aggressive is not something that I respect, because I'm a masculine man. I'm aggressive, which is to say, if you want to come for me, be aggressive, be straightforward, and I will crush you. You see?
Okay, so are we gonna have a legitimate conversation, or are we gonna go back and forth with this kid stuff?
You're carrying on with the interruptions. You'll notice when you're speaking, I'm not interrupting you, I'm listening to you. And this is why you have to learn from me. The male is the natural leader. You're behaving as a child does, which is a pity that you would even have a child while behaving like a child.
No, I'm asking you, are we going to have an actual conversation, or are we going back with a power struggle?
You're still talking while I'm talking. And that is showing that you're not a civilized person. You are an example to no one. And the reason that I address this is because, number one.
Go ahead, Slim. Yeah. Right, yeah. When he finally says that she's been calling him the sinner the whole time, and he's been ignoring it. So when he checks her about it, she overtalks him to say, "Is this a pissing contest? Are we going to keep doing this?" She's more offended by his statement about her and her ideology about how the men in their talking points on that platform. And she tried to say, "Well, do all platforms do it?" And he had to tell her, you came on here about the manosphere, and you brought up that show particularly. We're going to talk about the most popular one that everybody can sit there and look up, and we can find out their talking points. She said they have the same talking points. If it's a standard, why would you have to change it? It doesn't matter who comes to the show. If there's a standard to how men think, we shouldn't have to change it, period. So that's That's kind of odd that you think that it should change based on the audience. No, we have a standard, and it's not going to change just because a couple of hoes come up on the show. And just because those hoes come up on the show, it's not a depiction of what we deem women are. Those are, I agree with them. No respectable women would ever go on a platform like that. But if you perceive that's the imagery of what he's saying women are based on their talking points, then you lack comprehension. Right. Let's continue. Right.
One, when you keep calling me the sinner, you're being passive aggressive. It's just mere silliness. And so what I'm inviting you to do is to step out of the silliness and be civilized so that we might have a productive conversation that might benefit some of the persons who are watching. Does that make sense to you?
Well, you said that I don't listen, but you don't either, because
I just said, does that make sense to you?
No.
But I just said
I've never watched your show. I told you that people reached out to you so that we could talk. No, I'm not. Oh, so now I'm a liar. How can you say I'm a liar? How can you say that I'm a liar, that I don't watch your content? Are you just that? Are you just that ego driven to believe that everybody watches your content, sir? No, people reached out to you to talk to me, and they kept reaching out to me to talk to you. I didn't know who you were until people started reaching out saying, talk to this guy. So no, sir, I don't watch your content and I don't know who you are. So if you think me calling you the sinner is passive aggressiveness, no, sir, I'm just actually being introduced to you. So if you would like to be called the saint, I'll call you the saint. I don't have a problem with that.
You're already exposing yourself for being petty. And I want you to know that as an adult, there's nothing wrong with admitting where you're wrong. For example, using basic logic, which I know that you lack clearly.
Yeah, I'm petty.
One second.
Petty.
If you were to call someone by a shorter version of their name, you would use the beginning part of the name, which is the name is the saint and the sinner. Hence, you would use the beginning. So either you're a complete fool or you're illogical.
Or I'm actually military, because guess what? The military goes by your last name. So what kind of game you want to play? Right?
That's not a last name, though, dear. So
no,
my last name
is Bert. It does. So
stop being silly. Stop being
silly.
Sir,
you want to get into a real conversation, or you want to be petty? Because we can go petty if you want to.
You already
that's what the whole show has started off petty, right? Because
now, I don't think women understand when they invite pettiness to a man. I don't think they understand, because we can still have a regular expression and acknowledge that you're saying that we can go there. And then when we go there, you don't know how to take it. And all he said was, respect the name, but you kept interrupting him. This is where it starts right here. This is where it starts. So she keeps inviting the pettiness, and she's going to wonder why he goes there. Because women think they can be subtle with acting like they can go toe to toe with a man, and then when he starts throwing those blows, everything goes all hell goes loose. So we're just gonna see why this lasted the way it did. Because I would probably have the same response he did, because I'm just like, come on now. Like,
this ain't no educational nothing.
When you started, I already had to stop you from interrupting several times, which is a representation of your character. Furthermore, you somehow arrogantly wanted to speak of your education. You mentioned that you're doing molecular cell biology, which I think you think is impressive to me, which it is not. And I'll explain.
It's not about impressive. It's not about impressive. It's about getting on logic and reality. Okay.
It's been
logic and reality.
I'll tell you why it's irrelevant, because you try to make yourself sound like you're impressive because you're taking a degree in molecular cell biology, but you're 37 years old and you're just now finishing the degree, which is a representation of your inability to be focused and diligent and to complete things. So listen, no, I'm not impressed with a senior.
Actually not. The point of the matter is this: either we're going to talk about some logical stuff, real world stuff, or we're going to play this ring around the rosy game. Because so far it doesn't look like you want to actually get into a logical discussion. You want to go into ring around the rosies, and I can go and ring around the rosies. And guess what? Being in any kind of class, you don't have to have any type of background to go in a ring around the rosies, and we can do that if you want to. All right. No, so now either we're gonna talk about human nature, human behavior, or we're not. Okay, it's real simple.
I'm going to obliterate your ideology, but all we're asking you to do, and we've already asked you 3 times, is just to not interrupt.
All right.
Furthermore,
well, go ahead.
Cool. Very good. So let's start you off with this basic question. So one of your many claims is that women are the prize, right? Is that one of your claims?
Oh, absolutely.
Fantastic. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, when you get down to nature, raw dog nature, and not a artificial system like we live in, it is the male. Yeah, it's an artificial system. Anytime you have to create laws and law enforcement to redirect human nature, you're living in a system. So in raw dog reality, the male pursues the female all the time. He's wired to do that. And in raw dog nature, women get to deny, the female gets to deny access, right? Because guess what? The male's ultimate objective, biological objective, is to pass his genes along. Now, this is biology. Now, if we can't even agree with biology, then I don't know what we're talking about.
You're a true comedian. Do you yield the floor?
I yield the floor.
Fantastic. Go ahead. I'm going to
Okay,
respond.
we have 16 books at Peace to the Saints. You already know why I'm here. He got the cold-hearted blue. Get the dry ice ready, fellas. 16th book.
This bitch don't understand biology.
Yeah, you're gonna see why he
What is she
destroys her.
talking about? In a natural, see, this is why I want to debate him, because even this guy don't do justice. It's like this biology says that women put out pheromones to attract the men. That's what they do. Obviously, this is every female species, not just women, but females put out pheromones to attract men. And they don't really reject what comes their way in a natural setting because they can't. Once the pheromones is out there, they have no real chance, unless you're just talking about penguins, to stop with the oncoming traffic because the male is more dominant of a species than a woman. So if we were just in the wild without fucking laws, there is no law called rape. So I don't know what the hell is she talking about. Does she understand if we take rape off the table and there's no such thing as rape and your pheromones are attracting me to you, what's going to stop me from getting that pussy? If I smell OP smelling like she needs to put some dick, and I go over there, what the fucking OP do to stop me from getting the pussy? Not a fuck shit thing. So if you talk about raw dog,
I was just about to say that and that's what I was going to say. I disagree because men can and males can reject. I feel like there is a part of biology when we're talking about the study of plants and animals to where if it was me and Trolla and he did smell my pheromones, he can come up to me and reject my pheromones because another person's pheromones smell better. So I feel like that if we're going to talk about nature in aspect of being pursued and being hunted, you also have to talk about the aspect of there is also a rejection part of that too. Women, male animals are not just accepting everything that comes their way. That's not the case. They are attracted to whatever pheromone that they desire the most. So there is a pick that happens, and in nature, it is the male that picks and not the female. So, in my opinion, that is 100% wrong. Once upon a time, I wanted to be a biologist, and yeah,
Well, I'm glad
ahead.
y'all. Well, you're about to see exactly what he's about to say, and he's about to dismantle. Pretty much, he does say what Trolla says. Well, in response, I think if they don't argue, I think that's what he says. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, Troller, but I don't know if you want to jump back down just to let you know.
So get the dry ice ready, fellas. 16th book. Hef.com said, tuition, thank you for all your guidance, Marquette. Because of you, I have completely eliminated alcohol and drugs from my life altogether. Peace to the saints.
Peace to the saints. That's a beautiful thing.
Dylan said, no man wants her, truly.
We're going to get into
Major
it.
Mind and Soul said, peace to the saints.
Peace to the saints.
Justice said, peace to the saints. Pearls to swine.
Clearly.
On Cash App, we have Irvin sent tuition.
Shout out to Irving.
Justino sent $50.
Baller alert.
Said women making queens. Point them out. That's easy work. Rich Forever Way said, please just put her on game. I'm sure you know what she is. And Jerry says she has the gaslight tactics on tap. Wow.
Well, it's impossible to gaslight a man such as myself, but she's making many attempts. We'll see them fail, just as her life in totality has failed. But to your point about nature and the state of nature, you use strange terms like raw dog reality. I imagine you probably got raw dog, which would have made you a single mother. And I don't need
You assume I'm a single. You assume I'm a single mother. What makes me a single mother?
Your attitude. But let me finish.
No. What makes me a single mother, Saint?
We warned you earlier about cutting off and interrupting, and I see that you're doing it again. And
so you can bully and not actually have a conversation, right?
You're cutting off again. You see, you've been warned 4 times. Did I interrupt you while you were talking?
I'm not gonna let you sit up here and just say.
Did I interrupt you while you were talking?
What makes me a single mother?
Did I interrupt?
My attitude makes me a single mother. Does my attitude? Does my attitude make me a single mother?
Now you're behaving like a child. We've tried to establish a civilized debate here. When you were talking,
saying random things like that does not quantify debate.
When you were talking,
what makes me a single mother, Saint? What makes me a single mother? No, you can't make a claim and then not expound on it.
And I said, do you?
What makes me a single mother?
I asked, do you yield the floor to make sure I didn't cut you off? I showed you utter respect. Even though you're not a respectable person, I showed you respect. And when you were talking, I didn't speak. And then when I thought you were done, I still didn't go out there, except that I asked you. I said,
what makes me a single mother? What
Why
makes me a single mother?
So hurt that you can't be civil. How could you purport to be a leader?
This is a question, sir.
You can't even lead yourself. You're so angry. You're so mad.
Sir, what makes me a single mother?
It's not your turn.
All you have to do is answer. You can't make baseless claims.
Now, folks, sadly I had to mute, and I really didn't want to do that because I want everyone to have the chance to operate as adults. But as you see, she was speaking. I didn't cut her off one time. When she was finished, I said, do you yield the floor, which permitted me to speak. Now that I'm talking, she's so angry that she can't contain herself, and she's interrupting me for the 5th time. This speaks to her character. It's like, how can we have a debate if she's so angry she has no self-control? It's a clear indication that something's wrong.
Okay, Major Mind and Soul said, if in nature men chase women and not the other way around, what is a groupie?
Right. I'm going to school her right now. So first off,
Jay the Center said mismatch.
Oh, yeah, this is easy work. She can't even control herself. She's behaving like a toddler. This is easy work. This is easy work. Let me finish obliterating her. So number one, she speaks of a state of nature. She called it raw dog reality, which is comical that she's speaking about her past sexual experiences. In terms of raw dog reality, as she calls it, which is a state of nature, she says that the female is empowered to deny the male sex. Well, this is quite comical because in a state of nature where she refers to there not being laws and government and policing, well, the female is not actually able to deny the male sex. I guess she's not watched National Geographic. Does it look like consent when it's mating season and the alpha male dominates the female that he chooses? So what you should understand about a state of nature is you don't want to be in a state of nature, love, because in a state of nature, a big mouth yours, someone would reach back and slap the taste out your mouth and you could do all of nothing. That's number one. Number two, in a state of nature, if you were attractive and I wanted to slay you and you didn't want to go for it, I just take it. That's in a state of nature. Government, police, and civilization favors the female because it protects you, because in a state of nature, you get returned to where you really are, which is called a state of weakness. And especially when you're pregnant, you're further in a state of weakness. The only time that the female is actually protected is when she has a male protector. Hence, the true value and power is clearly in the male, and you referring to the state of nature has only validated that. Now, in your emotionalism, I will yield the floor so you can get big mad and explain to me why you're not a single mother.
It's not my job to explain to you why I'm not a single mother. My question to you is, you said that I'm one. So I'm asking you what makes me one. And then I'll address everything else. But what makes me a single
You
mother?
yield the floor.
Yes.
I just want to point out how he's, even though he's kind of like been making his points, he has been respectful. He's throwing his shots, and this is how, like, this is what happens when a woman has to review this debate. They're gonna make it seem like he literally like belittled her. He just didn't give her chances. He just tried to talk about her character. You don't, like, how can you look at this video up until now and still see the fact that this lady is disrespectful and she does not know how to have a conversation for growth and development? We could have been there, but she got triggered. She started saying we can be petty, we can be like, she introduced all that type of feedback. But you know, go ahead, Troller.
Yeah, the reality of it is he tried to check her on disrespect from the gate. He literally warned her that I'm not I'm the saint or the sinner. Literally, if you, I mean, you can get either or. You know what I mean? You're being passive aggressive. I'm not with passive aggressiveness. I'm with aggressiveness. I say the same shit. I'll fuck with this dude. I've never heard this dude before, but the way
No,
that he
this
just
man
handled
know
that
he
last
knows his
bar,
stuff.
I fuck with him. Because at the end of the day, I didn't expect, like, I think I heard some of this, and I didn't hear him come from the scientific angle. That's why I was like, yo, if he doesn't come from this angle, then I don't know, because this is an easy demolish right here. You set yourself up by even saying raw dog nature. It's like this lady is so fucking retarded, she don't even know that her argument, like, seriously, like, for real, I see why, like, because I would be the same way. I would be mad respectful to you on the debate until you get disrespectful, because now disrespect is on the table. You can't turn it to victimization with me. You know what I mean? Because I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you disrespected me. So now disrespect on the table. Let's go for the disrespect then. Don't try to say, oh, he lied or he embellished what he said about me and he's wrong. Because now you're a fucking victim. You're going to run around making yourself look like a victim and try to get women to side with you, which I don't give a fuck about those women siding with you. I don't care. I'm about to thrash you irregardless on any weakness or flaw that I can see. Him just throwing out there that she
That's
was a
what I
single mother
said. This is
is
what Tanya said.
exactly
I
what the
debate
fuck
just
I
like this
would have
guy.
did. Yeah, I would have did the same
Yeah, she
shit,
was
bro.
saying that's what I'm saying. That's why I said this. That's why I said this reminds me of when me and Tanya debated about things, and we would go here, and this is how it would go. And it's like later she'll send me a screenshot of like my points, and she'd be like, "Oh, you're right. I respect that." She did do that when we had certain debates and stuff like that. But she said this dude reminds me exactly like you, Rail. He comes at you like this. I'm saying, did you see from the very beginning? See, we have a step 1, step 2, step 3. We don't go outside the realm of how we respect people. That's why we value it so high, because once we go there, there's no coming back. So I know the tactical responses that women showcase when they want to be disrespectful. They undermine you in your stance when it's your turn. They'll be able to exploit everything about what they want to have their feedback. As soon as you say something, it's they come with this assertive, disrespectful interference, and then we get caught up in the ignorance. She knows what she's doing. And then when we start going off, someone will come. It just happens on my panel. Someone will come up here and say, "Real just he don't give women a chance to talk. He's disrespectful. He acts like women." I'm like, okay, I don't think y'all understand when I start my like I don't think y'all understand how these things went. This is why I say women need to go take some etiquette classes so they can know how to have conversations and know how to compartmentalize this conversation from this type of conversation. That conversation, you can't just pull any conversation to make a point. You got to know what you're
And
talking about.
I
And
100% agree with you. The only thing I was telling you yesterday, though, is like, when they get riled up like that, and I learned, you see me, I'm doing it myself. I literally like moving the same way. I'm trying to move that way, because sometimes I'll get riled up just for the fuck of it. But it don't ever get to me. Like, it don't, even if you think I'm riled up, I'm really not involved. Like, it's very uninvolving. But at the end of the day, though, when these women get riled up like that, sometimes you gotta sit back and just let them be stupid. Like, they look stupid. It don't matter if 2 or 3 women agree with them, because at the end of the day, she looks stupid. And so there's other people that see that. Anybody that's rational, that has any form of intelligence, they're going to see that she looks stupid. You know what I mean? Anybody that doesn't have any form of intelligence, they're just going to side with her because they don't have intelligence enough to lead anyway. That's the same thing with the women with Tanya as well, and other articulate women, because Tanya's intelligent. She's articulate. A lot of women aren't. So they have to follow underneath her, and then they just give the emotional responses while she gives the logical responses. You see what I'm saying? So followers, you can't, the lady just said, she read somebody's comment, and the guy said in the comments that you're not going to be able to sway her followers because they're just so on her so much that they're not even listening to points, which is the truth. They're never going to listen to logic. So all you have to do is watch her fucking act a fucking fool. And that's what I would tell you. Sometimes don't let the shit get you to where you're acting aggressive, all the way aggressive with her. You know what I mean? Just chill. Just let the shit evolve by itself. And that way, you know for a fact you're within the right. Because when you attack, it looks both ways. When it's you going back and forth with this person like that, you know, like the old school saying is, when you see two people from a distance. You see what I'm saying? And I know you're an intelligent person. I know she is. So I know both of y'all shouldn't even be going at it like that in the first place. But, you know, sometimes it be unintelligent people that we're doing this with. And from a distance, we both look like fools. That's why I gave up on even, I'm not about to be going back and forth with no idiots. I'll let them just go ahead, act a fucking monkey. You're a fucking ape. You know what I mean? Go ahead, act like an animal. Because you can't debate me logically.
Yeah, when it comes to, this is why I think it's funny, and I can't wait. Look, let's just watch this video. I can't wait, because when we get to this point, like when I get to a point where I want to start doing things like that, y'all gonna see a very big difference between how I regulate, you know, my points and stuff like that. Like I do light. I'm at work. I can't focus the way I truly want to when it comes to certain sentiments, but eventually in the future, right now, I still want to do my thing doing this. But y'all see, I'm slowly, I have like a year goal for what I'm trying to do. And I'm going to slowly get more in tune with just bigger conversations, provoking more education. I'm just slowly doing it. Like it's a process, but let's continue.
Okay. Are you with the father of
Do you want to go down to the thing? I don't know if you can hear it, Charlie. You might have to come out and come back in to see if you can hear it.
Wait, what did you say? Oh, yeah, hold on.
You
I gotta go back.
want to go down the comments because you said you can't hear.
Yeah, start playing it. Then when I get back to my truck, because I ain't in my truck at all. I can't.
Of your child, married currently?
Actually, yes.
So you're telling the truth that you're with the father of your child currently married?
No, I'm currently married, but I'm not with the father of my child. But he did just pick her up and drop her off. No. No, Saint. No, Saint. No, Saint. No, I did not lie. I did not lie. My husband does not live with me. We are still legally married. And he, guess what? Just dropped his daughter off here. He picked her up and took her to get her hair done. So tell me, what makes me a single mother when I have an active father in my child's life who literally just picked her up and dropped her off? Tell me what makes me a single mother. Are you saying that I must be sleeping in the same bed every night to be qualified as a attached woman? Tell me what makes.
What's up, both?
That is absolutely what the fuck it means. Now, are there good co-parenting situations? Yes. Right? But if you are not in the relationship with the person that you got pregnant with, and you two are not cohabitating together, that is exactly what the fuck it means. That's exactly what it means. So,
well, Stephen D, she is a lesbian now. They're not even together. She's literally in a lesbian relationship right now, Stephen D. So you're now going to use the common laws of society that she's saying black man they're enslaved by this common law to make her point as far as being married. But she came out as a lesbian a couple of months ago, and now they have no relationship outside of the children, which is completely fine. But she knows what he's asking. But she's choosing to pick the legality to whatever the legal reasons to
Legality
respond. Yes, I'm
reasons.
married. Yeah, but you're not with this
But you're
man.
also, but you're also
She,
legally
she's
There's a
she's
such thing as
technically,
being married and legally separated. That's what it sounds
yeah,
like she
she's
is.
legally separated. But she even I don't even know if she's technically married anyway. I don't know if y'all got that information from her or what. But at the end of the day, though, a single mother is different than a single parent. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, she is the definition of a single mother, even if she's not single parenting. And like I think people kind of like miss that point there. Like there's a difference between a single mother and a single parent. A single parent is somebody that's parenting by themselves. A single mother is a person who's a mother but doesn't have a man in the house. You see what I'm saying? So those are two different things. Even if you are co-parenting well and you're a mother and you don't have a man in the house on a day-to-day basis and that God gets the kid on the weekend, you're still a single mother. And this is not something that I even made up. This is just how courts even recognize it. They still recognize you as a single mother. This is why the statistics of single mothers are high. But nobody talks about single parents. Single parents are not really as high as everybody like to portray. A lot of these women aren't single parents. They're just not. So like the single mother statistics are definitely high. Single mother parenting is something totally different. And that's by statistics. That's not by, it's by design. That's an actual thing.
Exactly. I'm gonna continue.
Ooh-wee. Do you yield the floor?
Yeah, go ahead.
Number one, I want you to know that though I must vanquish you in the public forum, for you are clearly a demon as far as ideology goes. I want you to know that I see through you like glass. And
No,
what I
why?
see in
Because
you,
because the majority,
no.
no,
Why'd you yield the floor?
no,
Why are you talking?
because
Now this man has only said, "I see through you like glass," and she's already saying, "No, no, no." He hasn't even begun his statement. He hasn't
Okay.
even said
Now,
anything, and she's
be,
already prepared to just already have something to say.
here's the situation. Totally, you're right.
That is crazy.
Uh,
But
do you
let's
do you
continue
see
because
my
y'all.
do you see my comment? Did you see my
No,
comment?
no, I can't read
It
the comments.
says a
I just
single
got back in
person,
my.
a single parent is a person who has a child or children but does not have a spouse or live-in partner. Now, it's going to be kind of hard for them to say that she's a single parent when she actually has a spouse living in or a partner. Because in this day and time, you can have same-sex partners and not be a single parent anymore.
Okay, all right. Let me continue. Can you? I never heard it. Can you hear the video, Troller?
Yeah, I can hear it now.
It,
Okay, all right.
Hey,
Just
that
making sure.
word, the word pathetic is not a big word, dummy. I hope you know that. It's not a big word. I'm just saying, like, what?
That's why you
Saint,
single. You talk too
no,
much.
Sinner, no, Saint. Listen, I am a
I thought
logical
you yield the
person who
floor.
listen,
You're not
sis,
logical. I
sir,
thought you yield the
sir.
floor.
I didn't come here. I didn't come here to deal with a toddler. To you this, you this, you this. I want to discuss logical things. Okay. Now, with this personal attack that you're trying to do,
Can you tell me why you keep yielding the floor and then you start talking over me? Every time you say you yield the floor and I start talking, you start talking over me. That is not civil. Can you explain that to me?
because listen, so far this entire thing has been childish up to this point. Up to this point, you made a claim that wasn't true. Okay. What you're trying to do is smear okay, an image, okay, I didn't come here for that. I actually came here because somebody said that you were logical and that this was going to be a logical discussion. But clearly that's not the case. Now, if you think name calling and all of that is, oh, I'm obliterating you. Yeah, in kindergarten land. Absolutely. In kindergarten land. And I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
You're not able to abide by the basic rules of decorum. You have no emotional control. You're not in a position to identify what's logical. I gave you 5 different chances to where I said, please stop interrupting. You have such a lack of emotional control. You're not in a position to lead anyone, for you cannot lead yourself. What is worse than that, I asked you a simple question and you straight away lied. I said, are you
what is the lie? What is the lie?
Everyone is going to be able to rewind this.
No, they can rewind it. I am still legally married. I am still legally married. Okay. So me and my husband, listen.
Are you in a relationship with your husband?
No, I am not, but we are still legally married, which is a question that you asked. Are you married? Yes, I am still legally married.
Okay. So you're playing games here. So basically, when I suggest that you're a single mother, I'm suggesting that you're a single mother because I observe that you have a lack of communication skills. You are displaying a lot of masculine behaviors,
and you're not manosphere, and you're not manosphere, and you're not manosphere.
Look, I'm going to let you speak because you need to speak. You need to get something off your chest. I'm going to listen to you. Go ahead.
No, because see, at this point, this is just triangulation, right?
I'm going to listen to you. Go ahead.
This is triangulation. Okay. All right. So at the end of the day, this is not about debating points. Okay. Marital status, married legally. Okay. File for divorce. Divorce didn't go through. We got to refile. But he's still a parent to his child, which doesn't make me a single mother when you have an active parent, co-parent. Or are we playing a game about semantics with legality? What is it? You want me to be a liar because it doesn't fit your narrative, which I don't care what fits your narrative. Do you understand? Now, clearly, we didn't come here to debate what's the topic.
Just you're so out of control, and this is precisely why you are a woman that the father of your child does not want. And listen,
no, he actually wants to be with me. He didn't want me to divorce because I filed for the divorce.
When I tell you this, I'm happy to debate you, but we have to inspect the background and credentials of the persons we're talking to. You were the person who brought up that you have a degree in molecular cell biology, like we're about to have.
That you didn't want to answer, that you didn't want me to bring up, but you want to talk about a marital status, sir. First of all, I don't even push the idea of women being with men. First of all,
you're interrupting again. Let me explain to you why this came up. You mentioned that you are a representative for women. Now, let me give you a comparison. Yes, a representative.
Hold on, I never heard her say she's a representation for women. I didn't even hear her say that. Thank you. I'm glad you caught that because she's a representation.
Hold on.
What the hell?
Hold on.
Go ahead, OP.
Did she not just say that she doesn't promote relationships between men and women? Like that's not what pushes nature and humanity forward? Or am I bugging? Is that not what she just said?
Say that again, OP.
Did she not just say that she doesn't push male and women relationships?
Yeah, she said that.
That's exactly what she just said. She said, I don't push male and females relationship anymore.
So humanity is supposed to survive and thrive how?
They have it now where men can actually conceive babies.
Those are not men. Those are women.
Breastfeed babies.
But those are not men. Those are women.
They're not even talking about. They're not talking about transgenders. They can literally make an egg inside of an incubator now. They can create an egg inside of an incubator without any other human interaction other than the male. you definitely need the sperm to create a baby, but you don't
Yep.
actually need an egg anymore. So according to science, you don't. And I'm not saying this is good. I'm not pro nothing. But according to science, you don't need an egg. They can't put in no transgender either, though. So don't think this is about. This don't have shit to do with them. They haven't came up with the technology to make men palatable to grow a human inside of them, because we have different types of ribs. There's other shit I forgot all the. I used to know that shit, but there's other shit that would fuck up even if they implanted that egg inside of a man. So transgenders have no chance in hell right now, as far as
Yeah, your
science go.
body,
But
man's body is not meant to carry a baby. It will actually collapse.
I
It
know
will actually kill a man.
y'all don't
Actually,
want to do childbirth is not something that y'all would want to experience anyway. Trust me when I
but
tell you.
this ain't about that, OP. I'm telling you that they can do it in a laboratory with
No,
just the
no, I
male
hear
yes,
you.
sperm.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I got
that's
yes.
what,
you. I got you.
yeah.
I
I
100%.
don't ever want to give birth, and I don't give a. I don't think no man should ever try. But even those fucking retarded ass transgenders think that they're gonna die trying. That's for
They,
sure. If they ever even try that shit, they're gonna die because their body is not palatable for human reproduction. They can't do it. It's impossible. Our bodies are set up. A lot of things in our body are set up. We can't even get to the same temperatures that you guys can get. There's all sorts of shit that happens when you guys are pregnant that doesn't ever happen to our body. So if they ever tried it with them idiots, a lot of them will die. Like, they're stupid for even thinking that it'll ever happen. And if it does happen, it'll be fucking. At that time, we should be able to slow death down or something.
Mm, mm. You can go ahead, real.
As a representative, a leader. Now take a time out to be silent so that you might hear someone else speak
What's up,
other
bro?
than yourself, because it extremely is narcissistic that you feel you have to be talking constantly. Many times I volunteered to stop talking so you can express yourself. Now it's my turn to explain something to you. Now, you said you're a representative of women. You're a leader of women. Fantastic. Leaders are always under scrutiny because we want to know that you are somehow better off or superior, or your thinking, philosophy, and methods have yielded greater outcomes than the average person, which gives you merit for actually teaching them. Now, understand this. If you are a woman who can't even maintain a meaningful relationship with the father of your child, you failed in romance. If you are,
Whoa, hold on.
you
No.
don't, you hold on.
No.
It's not your turn.
No,
You
because
hold on.
you don't get to paint a false narrative, sir. Sir, you don't get to paint a false narrative.
No, you will get a turn. It's just not your turn now. And you should have taught your kids that, to take turns. I'm going to stop talking and then you can speak. It's not your turn right now. Be silent. And guess what? When you're talking, I'm going to take my turn to be silent. All right. Now, you're trying to step out as the leader of women and you failed at marriage. Marriage is supposed to be till death do us part, and it appears you're still alive. So you failed at that. You're no example of romance. Furthermore, on a financial level, if you want to teach women, one of the most meaningful things to teach anyone in this land of opportunity is finances, and you've not excelled at that. And then if you look at education, you're just now getting a degree and you're creeping into menopause age. So you failed at that. So the fact is, you have not outperformed any average woman. So what is so narcissistic in your mind that makes you think you're up here to be a teacher of others? You are not an example of others. Your habits are very base. That's why I bring it up. And now that we got that established, I'm happy to go on to a number of debate topics that we have. But when you want to step out and say you're a leader, have some credentials. When I step out and say I'm a leader, I outperform the average man in all of the major categories that people seek success. I now yield the floor.
Okay, so that's real cute, right? You want me to be quiet while you sit up here and cast a bunch of lies, and then I'm supposed to sit here and be like, okay, I'm just gonna wait till he stopped talking, right? So what you don't what you don't know, okay, because you just made it seem like I was broke, that me and my child's father don't have a good relationship. That's what you just made it seem that way. Even though we co-parent and we're like best friends, you just That don't matter. You know why? Because you didn't really do no research on me. This is just a character assassination. And if that's how you get down on your show, baby, get down on your show. Because that don't matter. Because at the end of the day, I was in the military for 8 years and I got commissioned as an officer, but you don't know that, right? You don't know that. You also no, you also don't know that I was top salesman in the car industry, right? Because that didn't matter. What you wanted to do was try to look at my marriage background when my whole message to women is to not get married and to leave y'all alone. Right. Oh yeah. Do not get married, right? And to keep their legs closed and to build a community of women. But for some reason, you think I got a different message. And it don't matter what you think because my message is not to appeal to men, right? So you can assassinate my character all you want to. That ain't gonna make it true, right? So now either we're going to talk about some real stuff or I'm gonna sit up here and let you play a bullshit game for your followers that is based on lies. Because that seems like how you get down, Saint. Because that's your game. And I'm gonna let you play your game and I'm gonna let you just run it how you want to. But I'm gonna promise you, part of this I can see I'm not gonna participate in because I don't got time for the childishness.
It's because you're angry that you're withdrawing. Generally, this is very common when people are losing at something, they don't want to play the game. You see, and it's almost like a woman who can't dance. She says the DJ doesn't know how to play the right music. That's all that's happening right here. You see, all of the things that I said, you've not disproven any of them. And what's worse is that you are clearly a person who's reacting poorly to trauma. You weren't taught grit and coping when you were reared. And I can tell you how I know that because, see, look at this childish cackling. The way I know that is because your marriage failed in such a bad way that you're now telling others, don't get married. And that's really a sick, sad thing. And it hurts my heart to see that. You've suffered so badly that you're saying you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater and saying, even though marriages work for a long time, don't get married. Even though the data indicates that the children who are in raised in families where their parents are married, they have lower levels of mental illness, which you're clearly displaying. They have lower. This woman is really sick out here. This is sad.
Right,
Stephen D, I noticed you've been kind of having this lady's back. I would like to see, can you come up here and explain exactly why you feel like he's provoking her and she isn't doing anything but just sitting there and cooperating? I'm just curious to your view on why you believe that he's provoking her.